When you start talking about issues, you start talking about true family values, and you start talking about how we as Democrats in this county, in this state, and in this country stand for what the working men and women need to survive and provide for their families. About 6 years ago, I met this young man, and through the course of our genesis through this process, he asked me to become a shadow up at the state legislature about 3 years ago as we were up there lobbying on some issues of concern to firefighters. He caught the bug. He is now as much of a political junkie as any of the rest of you here. He is dedicated to making sure that your interests are represented, and he will make a great vice chair in support of your new chair for the Davis County Democratic Party. For that, I am proud to nominate Ryan Mellor as vice chair.
Hi, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ryan Mellor. Last election cycle, I ran for the representatives, and I had the honor and privilege of getting beat with the D by my name. And people ask me, and in fact my opponent asked me, he says, why in the world would you run as a Democrat? He says, you know, if you run as a Republican, you might have won. And I said, you know what, I can't do that because I am not a Republican. I spent 20 or 30 years of my life thinking I was because my dad was, and it wasn't until I got to know guys like Jim Judd, and I got to know guys like Kim Wixon, and I got to know guys like Rob Miller. People like that I met up on the Hill when I was working for union issues. In fact, when I started working for the union, it was because they liked me because they thought I spoke Republican. But as I got talking about it and got to know these people, I realized I am not. I am a Democrat. And that's when I decided if I'm a Democrat, what am I going to do about it? In the past year, the state party has seen great strides in our electoral endeavors. We've had volunteer hours and public volunteerism at a peak that this party hasn't seen in ages. Our friends and neighbors voted for the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama, in droves, in fact, in numbers, and made it in a makeup of people who you would have never in a million years, when they would have never in a million years thought that they would ever vote for a Democrat. And yet they voted for our President, Barack Obama. A couple of years ago, such a turnout out of this state would have seemed virtually impossible and unattainable. And yet here we saw it. The times are changing. And however, we here in Davis County we're in a different kind of position here because we are the minority party in a county that's made up of primarily Republicans or people who think they are. And yet we are the member of the party that's running the country right now. So we're in kind of a different kind of situation here. But these present opportunities and challenges for us, that we need to rise up, and now is the time to act. We need to put away the theories and the attitudes of the past and step into today and prepare for what we can do tomorrow by continuing to reach out for our neighbors and those who might not necessarily agree with our perspectives on governance. We can continue to keep the door of opportunity and cooperation open instead of being shut out. There are some substantial challenges, however. This is a county where 2/3 of its citizens either identify themselves as conservative or call themselves Republicans. It's clearly an immense hurdle, but this is not one that we cannot overcome. We, through diligence, dedication, education, cooperation, and through an honest and genuine interest in the opinions of our neighbors, we have the ability to change minds. My mind was changed. I like to stand up and, you know, I have friends who were down in the fire department who went through Alcoholics Anonymous, and they always stand up the first they're meeting, hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I like to stand up and tell people, hi, I'm Ryan Mellor, I'm a recovering Republican. But it's going to take discipline on our part. It's going to take a lot of work. This is not something that can be done lightly. And it's going to take a lot of effort and a lot of organization from our county party that goes way beyond just putting out lawn signs. The Davis County Democrats have an opportunity to streamline our efforts through new social media tools, uniform office procedures, intensive campaign training for both candidates and volunteers, and through utilization of resources that are offered by the state organization. This endeavor is not going to be easy, however. It's going to require that we are not the party of hostility toward our neighbors. It's going to require that we create a county party that offers substantial policy alternatives to governance in the state. This is going to have to include an archive approach toward position papers and utilization of resources that can be used to meet the inquisitive nature of our Davis County residents. We're here to provide an alternative to a status quo that does not welcome questions. That was one of the first things I noticed when I was working up on the hill with Jim. And one of the first things when people asked me why I became what I did. Because when I went to find out what the other party believed in their meetings, I found out that they were closed and I was not allowed to see them. And yet if you walk down the hall to the minority party, not only did they let you come in, they asked you what you thought. Even if you didn't agree with them, they'd like to hear what you think. And that is what my parents taught me government was all about. That's what our founding fathers said government was all about. Even if you don't agree, you have the right to be heard. And I have the responsibility, if I'm in power, to listen to what you have to say. That's what makes our community great. And the fact that we can have that discussion only makes us stronger, right? The fact that we don't all in this room agree with each other at all times. The fact that we can discuss it makes us stronger. We back Utahns back government that is responsible. Utahns back government that is ethical. Utahns back good family, strong family values. Utahns back the future, right? And Democrats represent the future of Utah. Democrats represent the future of Davis County. And I am proud to help represent you and the Davis County Democrats as we step into the future and bring Utah back where it belongs in Democratic hands.